This is Hyundai's one-off concept car that marries Ioniq brand's design language to a silhouette from the brand's past, resulting in one of the coolest electric cars that we have seen thus far. Come meet Heritage Series Grandeur.
Fully Charged Live is back and bigger than ever. Get your tickets now to the world's #1 electric vehicle and clean energy live show, featuring all manner of electric vehicles, tons of test drives, live theatre sessions, interactive home energy experiences, and so much more. See you there.
Show of hands, how many of you heard it for the first time? That Hyundai had such a name and such a car. But Grandeur is one of the most well-known car among Koreans. And just the numbers alone, recently, Grandeur has actually sold the most from its brand, winning over sales of Sonata. So what is it? This first generation Grandeur that you see before you is actually first manufactured back in 1986. So this Heritage Series Grandeur, which is now turned into fully EV inside, keeping the exterior design from the first generation, it also is a living heritage. And we really try not to get all excited about a concept car, but this, believe me, this is your one-way ticket to the heartbreak. You really have to see this car in person, and literally I'm just, centimeters away from this physical car. But this pixels, the grills, and this new Grandeur emblem logo that they have put on, it looks just immaculate. You see the marker here? This is actually a blinker. So when you have the blinkers on, this will light up, good old, orange lights. And come take a look at this wheel as well. So this is the good old shield, looking like a wheel that is geared towards maximizing the MPG on most of the modern day EVs. But this is actually very reminiscent of the first generation Grandeur wheels as well. And come take a look at this tire size, 205, 55 with 16-inch wheels. And that is also very reminiscent of having the high, thick profile, providing the most cushiony and comfortable rides that is evidently found during the era of this first generation Grandeur, of course talking about 1980s. And the back of the wheel, the half of the tires is actually covered up by the rear fender. And that is one of the characteristics during the time of this luxurious sedan and saloon. And guess what this is? This is also the digital side mirror, but this is not like the one that we have seen from Ioniq 5 or EV6 or GV60 for that matter. Those are the 3 Korean cars that currently have digital side mirrors, but they kept this retro, it's not even retro, it's normal for most of the cars, but they kept the side mirror here. However, they put in the digital display right on where the mirror used to be. And also this also lights up when the blinker is on. And come take a look at closer look. There is the camera for the digital side mirror view. And there's also the hazard light button for your blind spot monitor. So pretty much what we use every day on this modern day EV, it's been implemented on this Heritage Series Grandeur. So the whole body, the exterior that you see before us, is actually the first generation Grandeur. So the windows, the moldings, the A, B, and C pillar is exactly straight from the first generation. So to come take a look at this one. This is like those gigantic pillars that we don't really see anymore on modern day cars. And check out the belt line right here. The windows sit so low, it's about the height of my waistline. And that's how far the windows would actually come down. Come take a look at inside. I think this is where Hyundai engineers put most of their efforts on this Heritage Series Grandeur. Starting off with this window buttons, unlock and lock, controlling your mirrors and folding your mirrors. This is all touch sensitive. And they also kept this leather handle for your storage area. And this is also quite similar to that ones we've seen on Ioniq 5, yet different. They added in that last piece of leather right here, and also this retro Grandeur gets all high-tech with the modern technology, and we cannot leave out and forget about this ambient light. Ambient light runs all the way from here to here, and it runs and hugs the entire cockpit, the car, all the way to the second seat as well. What kind of design is this? I've never seen a one-spoke steering wheel. So don't be surprised, this actually is a one-spoke steering wheel that's been used again on the first generation Grandeur, but Heritage Series Grandeur gets all the fancy stuff with the buttons on left and right that works together with the infotainment and the monitor system up there, and you get a tiny little display right here as well. And one of the biggest difference that I would like to point out about the display is that this is not two separate displays like that we see on a lot of today's EV, such as 12.3 dual screens that's splitted right in the middle. No, this is a one whole giant display that's fully functional, and it gets a whole new graphic and infotainment system of its own. And there are speakers right here located left and right, and of course all the way around this monitor. And inside right here in the center console, you might not be seeing any storage up above. True, there is none. However, you can pull this out right here, and that storage is actually reserved for keeping watches. And that's because, again, this Grandeur meant luxury during this time. And what goes well with the luxury any better than watches? And this gear selector is very futuristic in its sense. You can control the P, R, N, D right here vertically. And that was much about the driver's seat and the cockpit. But let's not miss out the second row seat. And what's been really changed on the second row seat of this Grandeur Heritage is that from the three-seaters on the second row, it's been now tuned into two-seaters. And in the middle sits the giant center console, but giving up that one-seater in the middle, the two seats have gotten much bigger. And it even looks much larger than what we see on the driver's seat. It actually is much bigger. And you might be curious about that. The reason why is actually Grandeur up to today, this car is, a lot of people actually drive this car as a chauffeur-driven car. So the rear second row seat actually matters a lot to their customers of Grandeurs as well. So Hyundai did not miss that out. They know what their customers want with the car, so they kept that heritage and the lineage and integrated that into the second row seat. And what else is that found? Come check out the ceiling right there. There is not exact name with that. However, that's one of those infinity lighting, and take a closer look at it. So it just kind of reminds me of those mirror dimensions, or like infinity space over infinity space kind of thing. So when you take a look at that one, there are lightings going deep down forever and forever. And you might also be curious about the material that's been used on the seat. but this is actually velvet, which was considered to be the luxurious fabric and material during that time. So Grandeur has brought that back up again with other Napa leather along with this beautiful velvet. So this is the charger port that supports the DC combo type, and also the pixel light design is used on here that shows the remaining charging points and batteries, just like it was on Ioniq 5. And it even says with the lettering here, charging. So it's very direct and intuitive. And there's also the pixel light logo right here on the charger port cap as well. The rear quarter also has the turn signal in pixels, and this pixel all throughout goes really well with this Heritage Series Grandeur, because as you can see, the car itself is very box-like. It's got squares everywhere on the exterior alone. And although rest of the world may not have heard about the Grandeur that much, what's all the hype about Grandeur for Koreans? Grandeur takes us back to the time that you were behind the wheels, going to places with your family, to the time that you were on the second row seat, alongside with your parents, going to picnics, parks, having the family time together. So seeing this car in a physical one in the real world, it all takes us back. That's what Grandeur means to us, to Koreans. Grandeur is Hyundai for Koreans. So that is what the hype is all about. But seeing this beautiful pixel lights inspired from the Ioniq brand that we have seen throughout, and also keeping this one horizontal, giant, long taillight. You might think that my Hyundai might have overdone it, but no. This is actually what the design was for the first generation Grandeur. That's where the taillight was, that's where the reverse light was, and also that's where the turn signals were. Is there a place for retro-futuristic car like the Heritage Series Grandeur? Would you like to see Hyundai making these concept cars out of the factory line? Or do you prefer Hyundai to focus on the future instead of fixating on the past? I am DK Kim from South Korea. Don't forget to subscribe and like, and also tell us about your thoughts on this Heritage Series Grandeur. And we are fully charged.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that episode. DK has made some incredible shows for us, really brilliant. There is one of DK's other shows. Here is our latest video. Up there is our subscribe button. You can do that and support DK. And also up here, you can support DK even further by having a look at our Patreon link. Thank you.